Hi, this is DMY. Today we are going to distinguish between two worlds of philosophy, Eastern and Western philosophy. It is really hard to come up with a complete contrast on these, but we will try. We are going to separate them in their main focuses, methods, terms, and in addition to them, individual and social outcomes will also be addressed. What I mean by main focus is the main function of philosophy in these hemispheres. Eastern wisdom concentrates on the actions, behaviors, deeds of men. On the contrary, Western philosophy is more concerned on the facts, reality, and external events. Take the origins of these philosophical traditions. Greek natural philosophers, first philosophers in the Western Anatolia, were more concentrated on finding a factual external explanation for the arche, the beginning and the origin of the universe. Meanwhile, Confucius, Lao Tzu, and other Eastern scholars were about more concerned about the actions of humans and their ethics. In this way, Eastern philosophy has become more tacit and implicit, while Western philosophy became more certain and explicit through the extended use of definitions and measurement of the external reality and translation of events to subject specific fields. The main tool of philosophy is language. It uses comparison and contrast between opinions and claims. Western currents of thought are more available for criticism than their Eastern counterparts. As a result, Western politics and schools are more prone to divide, disintegrate through heavy criticism, whilst their Eastern schools are more cooperative in their methods. Take Socrates and his pupils, Thales and his friends. They all opposed to each other, while Confucius, Lao Tzu, and Changzu are followed with faith by their disciples. Their methods also diverge. Analytical style of Western schools contrast the therapeutic approach of Eastern schools. Western schools tend to break up, unpack, and analyze the concepts, therefore, they are descriptive and diagnostic, in contrast to prescriptive Eastern schools making use of thinking for the common good. Western terminology is clear, definite, logical. Nevertheless, Eastern terminology is more dynamic, indefinite, and open for change. Eastern traditions tend to be oral, and writing the basic tenets are not upfront as it is in the Western circles. Logic, as the study of reasoning, is invented in Greece and carried out to India. Indian philosophy has some sense of Western concepts in this way, but China doesn't really include any formal study of logic. Maybe it's because of the linguistic differences. Indian and Greek are from Indo-European language family. Chinese is completely different in its writing and grammatical properties. The origins and definitions of the terms like idea, metaphysics, epistemology is more clear than the Eastern examples like karma, nirvana, or Tao. Western philosophy made it easier to focus on the nature with constant investigation and efforts on clarifications of the propositions. Meanwhile, Eastern philosophy made it easier to cope with life and the problems of existence. Western philosophy made it easier to control the nature. Eastern philosophy is more focused on being content. Western methods required explicit factual arguments. Eastern philosophy is more personal, tacit, and implicit. In this way, more helpful in terms of personal problems instead of epistemological problems. We can typically and superficially say that Western people are always divided in their thinking in opposition to Eastern people who are more submissive when it comes to their worldview. Western thinking gave birth to modern science, which is a breed of philosophical investigation mixed with measurement and empirical materials. Eastern philosophy did not end up with a scientific progress, but it made its people more collaborative and more peaceful. It is more psychological and sedative as opposed to Western doubts and criticisms. Some of these labels are not in complete contrast because of the differences in the understanding. Eastern schools of thought are also religious and psychological institutions, while Western schools are more focused and concentrated on the knowledge and external reality. All in all, this is a rudimentary approach for the people who doesn't know where to start when it comes to Eastern thoughts and Western thoughts. These are not easily identifiable and usually underdeveloped classifications. You will see it when you go deep into classical works of these grand categories of thought.